Friday. We're here at Silverstone, and unexpectedly I'm actually doing some driving because Nathalie, the driver who I was here to coach, is injured and the car still needs testing and shaking down, so I've ended up doing some testing. So you're going to see on this quite short and impromptu video some onboard footage of me driving a very nice Porsche Cayman race car. You'll see me driving, interestingly, a car that has hand controls, although I'll be using my feet and trying to keep my hand away from the hand controls, and I'll try and explain to you what that means during the video. So I'll show you inside the car and how Nathalie would normally drive it. To accelerate and to brake, and the bar is directly connected to the pedal. All right, let's go do some laps of Silverstone. I'm having to really reposition my right foot in a very small space. Haven't driven this car in quite a long time. Haven't driven Silverstone National in probably 5 or 6 years, maybe more. Certainly haven't raced it since 2007. So you join me as we leave the pits for our first test run. Really, the whole point of this session is just to gather some information for Nathalie, give some feedback on how the car's handling after it's been rebuilt, and just let the team know if there's anything obvious that needs changing or could be improved. So I did actually attempt to do some talking via the helmet camera, but you absolutely can't hear a word I'm saying, so I'll just try and fill in the gaps. Essentially, I'm just getting used to the car, just getting a feel for it, not trying to push too hard, and just bringing the tyres in gently. These are brand new treaded tyres. They're not slick, but they are basically semi-slick. So being a test day, we're allowed to overtake people in the corners on either side. It's unlike a track day that you might have seen before. And what I'm going to do now is just let you watch a lap, and then we'll come back in the pits and give some feedback. Now you're already going to see a little bit of understeer creeping in. This is going to be a theme through the rest of this video, trying to dial out that understeer. And you're also going to notice a kick down with the gearbox. There are times when I accelerate and the car drops down a gear, and that's because this car is running a fully automatic gearbox. Being a hand control car, the driver Nathalie obviously couldn't use her hands to change gear because she's got one of them controlling the accelerator and the brake. So it's fully automatic, and that does mean when you accelerate sometimes you hear that kick down. So that's what you're hearing. It's not just me selecting the wrong gear on the corner exits. Looks like we're going to get one more clear lap here, so I'll just finish this one and then bring it back in the pits for some feedback. Understeer bias in like most corners, so Cops, there's a lot of understeer. I mean, I'm not remotely on the limit either, and there's still quite a lot of understeer. And go onto the Wellington straight, you know, as you get halfway round, you're like, oh, I want to get on the gas, but you're like, you can feel it pushing wide. You don't want to like push through the understeer. That's the main thing. I mean, it can go a lot quicker. There's tons of traffic, so I only got one pretty clear lap. And I think the steering is slightly to the right when you're going straight, but I want to confirm that on the next one. I don't want to, it's not something we can change mid-session anyway, so.
That tyre's like well past.
Okay.
So we're dropping down, let's see what it's like at the tyre pressures now.
It's a safe balance,
yeah,
but it's maybe slightly too safe. Okay. I'd say more understeer than neutral. So the idea is to try and set the car up in a way that Nathalie will like, which is probably quite neutral, same as most people would like it. me after the first run, I think there was just a bit too much understeer, so the team are trying to dial that out. A couple of solutions. We don't want to make it oversteery, so you have to be careful to find the right balance. So going to be heading out again shortly. Do a few more laps. Okay, so we're going to go out for a second run to see if we can improve on the last times after we've made a couple of setup changes. Much hotter now though. It's been a good couple of hours since the last session. I think it's going to be a little bit hot. We're on pretty soft tyres. In this car we've got some pretty cool features. We don't have a left mirror, we have a camera over here instead. It's pretty fancy, and we've also got a rear view camera as well as this rear view mirror, so that's cool. Okay, so on this second run, I really knew that the tyres were going to be at their best on the first lap. So I do a pretty gentle out lap and then just try for one flying lap to get a good handle on the balance. It is a particularly hot day today, so everyone's struggling with the temperatures, and there's no point really chasing the setup beyond what the tyre is capable of coping with. But I definitely wanted to get a more representative lap time. I had a better feel for the car by this point. We put the car in a racier mode in terms of traction control. So as I said, a sensible outlap, try and find some space, and hopefully exit Luffield with a nice clear track in front. You can hear me mumbling something incoherent because I thought you'd be able to hear me through the camera, and you definitely can't. So we'll ignore that. I go wide deliberately to cut back for a second apex at Luffield to get a nice quick run across the line, and it does look like we're quite clear in front. So let's watch this lap. There we go, that's my fastest lap of the session, fastest lap of the day for me. I'm told that that kind of lap time is pretty much on pace for the lap record in that class, so I can't be too disappointed with that. And on these subsequent laps, we will watch a couple of them. You're going to see I just couldn't keep the front end pointed where I wanted. It got progressively more and more difficult to keep control of that front end. So although the pace is still absolutely fine, the car is still very competitive in terms of lap times in its class. It wasn't the ideal balance that I was after, but sometimes there's only so much you can do when the temperatures are this high. So I just had some fun overtaking some other cars, enjoying myself out in the sunshine at Silverstone, in the dry, in a wonderful car, and you can watch a couple of those laps now. So it's better. My first lap was a 63.7, like straight away, and then it was just traffic after that. So it felt better, but I don't know how much of that is just that I was way more confident with the car with cooler tyres, because even though I got traffic on the next couple of laps, I probably could have matched that, but I think I would have struggled to go quicker because the grip was falling away and falling away.
Yeah.
Definitely better with Sport Plus, and it already feels like they're too hot. Like it already feels understeery. The first lap was good, but then it already got, even though I was in traffic, it already started to get worse and worse, and I went really wide on the exit of Cops on that last lap, just because you turn and it's just like nothing, straight on. So, but the first lap, when they were cool, it felt really nice. Like, you feel the limitation immediately. You're like, oh, washes out. But yeah, when it was cool, was great. If it was a cold day, I think it'd be actually really nice.
Do you think it felt better than it was?
I think it did feel better. Okay. I'm just always cautious to say, because of the conditions have changed so much, and I'm also running in PSM off, which feels better, much better through the tight corners. Okay. I can actually get a bit of rotation in the tight corners. Okay. It's certainly not worse. Okay. And I went, like, literally on one flying lap, I went 0.3 quicker straight away. So. So just for the hell of it, we went out and tried one more run, and this time I got to see my friend Steve Deeks, one of the chief instructors of Silverstone, driving an incredible 600 horsepower Alfa Romeo 4C, which we couldn't quite keep up with. So that's it, that was cool. A little unexpected test session in a race car. Didn't come here expecting that today. So beautiful day at Silverstone. Heading off to Pembrey now. If you want this t-shirt, the orange meatball flag Oops t-shirt, you can find that on my online merch store. Check in the link below. And I'll see you next time, 2 weeks at the next GX UK round.